Well, our pity party is over. Let's get back to normal here. And by normal, I mean stop complaining. I don't mean you, I mean me. Yeah, let's get on with it. Anyway, I did come back to the model table last night. As you can see, there's a little bit more done here. And if we roll back, we can find out how we got to this place. And then we'll continue on. Yeah, that stays there. That's kind of dangerous. I better lay it down. Okay, what I want to try to do this evening, because I really do intend to try and spray tomorrow, is get everything lined up and okay, now this part right here is actually going to be going on right here. Now maybe I should have grabbed it just a little bit differently here. So what I'm thinking is, as long as it's going to be going like this, and that hook is going to be CA'd onto that little pulley that we just slipped it over. Okay, why don't and then it's going to have to be brushed anyway. Like after we put it on and do the CA thing, we're going to have to brush to get rid of the glint from the CA. So let's see if I can get it off now. There we go. And yeah, so something like this. I have to be so careful when I pick these up because I don't want to bend it. I shouldn't be dropping it because if you notice, there's a tiny little hook on the bottom there. Okay, so if I make some sort of a jig, maybe using the helping hands and a pair of tweezers, and just hold it like this, and don't worry about the fact that the hook is not going to be painted, but it'll allow me to spray, and the spray will get into all these little tiny nooks and crannies, and yeah. And now where's the other parts? Okay, the ladders. Well, it'll be pretty easy to do them. We'll just do them the way we always do the ladders. I'll just stick them down on something. Now, as for these, here again, we're going to want to be really careful because we got very, very delicate little parts just barely hung on there, if you remember. So what I want to try to do is rig up some sort of a jig that I can paint the entire thing. Maybe drill a hole in a piece of wood or something that's a little bit smaller than this little part right here, and sort of just wedge it in the hole. That's the plan for right now. Yeah, we'll work on that this evening. Okay, the first hole I drilled here was too big, so I went, you might say, the next size down, and that seems to be just about right here. I don't want to break the peg off either. For some reason that's not really going down as well as the other one. It's a little bit on the loose side here. Maybe the hole has to be just slightly enlarged. I have to be careful how I lay this down because, as I mentioned, this little part here on the end will easily bend. Oh. Well, that's not the way I'd like it. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I think that'll stand up to airbrush. Alright, now for this piece right here. Okay, the plan is I want to use these blunt nose tweezers, and it doesn't matter if they get paint on them. Windex will take that off. And I haven't tried this yet, so I'm going at it maybe a little bit awkwardly. Okay, and you'll notice that it's quite stiff. Okay, if I can just grab hold of it out here, like that. Alright, now this should work. Okay, now I should be able to handle that, and you notice that when I hold it on its side, it doesn't sort of flop down. It stays at the same angle. In other words, the hook is stiff enough. And as long as I don't get, too close with the airbrush, it should be all right. At least that's the plan. And also, I should be able to lay this down now. Yeah, I can lay it down, and it's not going to touch anything, no matter which way I lay it down. Unless I was to, tilt it forward, which I'm not about to do. Okay, so I can hold this in my hand, in other words, and do the airbrushing, and then afterwards I can just lay it on and go to the whatever's next. Okay, I still haven't decided how I'm going to hold this piece here. Now the ladders, they're pretty straightforward. I think I'll just use a piece of masking tape on a block of wood, like we used to. Okay, I realized that I did not do a very good job of getting the hole for the centering, so I know where the center of rotation is in that one, but gives us an idea anyway. I can almost see the hole right through the masking tape here. I don't know if I'll be, doing the power on thing with the rotator or not. And we don't want to flatten out our stairs. I just want to sort of press it into the gum on the tape here. Okay, here is the plan for this one. I do want to be able to spray on the end here. Now this part here is going to be going down into a bracket on the mast. And it's probably going to get the paint scraped off it anyway. So how would it be if we were to hang it by this thing, like this? Alright, it's going to kind of swing in the wind, you might say. But at least I'd be able to swing it out like this and spray in on the end and get the end, and I should be able to turn it around and spray all the way around. I've got to think of a way to keep it from, like I say, flapping in the wind. Unless while I was spraying it, I sort of supported it somehow from behind. Well, we'll think of something. But anyway, I think we basically have it here. All our parts are, in jigs, you might say. Yeah. Now, how would it be if I was to put something behind it, if I was going to be spraying this way? I don't know, it's still pretty flimsy. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to sleep on it. We'll see you in the morning. Well, I have slept on it, and I am feeling a lot better, a lot more optimistic. Now, one of the viewers made a very observant comment, and he said how ironic it was. Well, I'm not getting it exactly right, so maybe I better thunk it down so that you can read it. But he was saying how ironic it was that the word fun at the bottom there was getting painted out. Now, I never noticed that, but that is irony. Now, it is just strictly irony. I used to be superstitious to a fault, and I would have thought, oh, and I would have, in my mind, heard spooky music and all that kind of stuff. But it's just ironic, that's all. But how observant. The word fun was getting painted out. Now, as well as the surveillance monitor that's on my model table that you often see at the beginning of the episode, I've also got one over top of my computer monitor where I do my editing. And I was just editing out this video here, and I noticed movement in the bottom right-hand side on the tree. And I'm thinking, is that a squirrel? Well, I zoomed in, and of course it wasn't. It was a bird feeding. Was that a woodpecker? I don't know. Maybe my Facebook friend would be able to tell me what kind of bird that is. But anyway, it kind of looks like a woodpecker. Anyway, it was going after the grubs, I guess. I was noticing, though, that it wasn't going after the ants, even though one seemed to be crawling right beside it there for a while. Anyway, where am I going with this? Well, I guess where I'm going with it is I'm thinking I should move my bird feeder because I haven't had any what you might call nibbles on my bird feeder. And I've been checking. I've got it set up so if any motion happens on the bird feeder, I sort of can get notified if I want to. And quite often I've wanted to. And I've checked it out. Nothing on my bird feeder. So I'm thinking now that possibly because I'm going to be getting a snowblower and I can blow myself a path to the tree, maybe I should put the bird feeder over there. That's the thought right now. Now I want to be able to have it in a location where I can run the wire from the video camera because I want to keep an eye on it. It's just something I like to do. Now, you remember I was concerned about the fact that if I was to take this tape off, that this thing could blow over, because they're not stuck real well into the foam. And so what I've done here is I've got thread, and I got to try out the BSI or Bob Smith Industries curing agent, and it seems to work pretty good. I use CA glue on the pins there. I'm going to have to scrape that off, I guess, so I can reuse them. But anyway, I think that this is going to make it fairly strong. Now, I do have to be careful I don't catch my hands on these threads. But at least now we should be able to take the tape off. And it shouldn't fall over. I just got to remember to move really slow and watch where I put my hands here. This tape actually worked pretty good. Okay, now all being well, that's not going to come off of there. Oh, be careful I don't bend my cable. Sometimes when I'm trying to demonstrate something for the camera, it turns out to be a disaster. Okay, we're getting closer to spray time. I can hardly wait. Oh, just one more thing. I do know that where the thread goes up and is attached, over top of the boom on the mast here, stuff like that. It is going to be you know, I'm going to have to repaint there, but that shouldn't be a problem. I don't think anybody's going to notice, you know, the marks that are going to be left here. Okay, here's one of our new number 22s. And I'm going to have to do a retake here. My goodness sakes. Okay, I think I got it. Holy cow, is this old stock or something? Anyway, when I was at Eliminator Hobby getting my number 22 here, I forgot to get thinner. I think we probably got enough left there for, oh, I guess a couple of thins. And try to thin it down to about 1/3 here. There's 10 milliliters in these things. They're supposed to be anyway. And 1 milliliter of thinner weighs approximately a gram. So bring it up to 3. Now I have to remember I don't have all day because this particular scale has a tendency to time out. Okay, so that's 3.1 grams or milliliters versus 10 of paint. So it's not quite a third. Maybe I'll just give it a little bit more here. All right, I do have another scale that is more sensitive than this, but anyway, we'll take that to the paint shaker and shake it up. Okay, we'll let that dry and see what we got. Okay, we are basically all cleaned up here. And I might come back and work at this evening. We'll see how it goes. And by work on it, I guess it'll be just doing some close-ups of this stuff after it completely dries. It's probably not going to change too much right now. At least we'll be able to check and see where did I miss and where didn't I miss. And for those of you who like to know what time it is, it's only about 1:38. I probably would have time to do a little bit more, but I'm going to call it quits for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.